opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. No, it's touched the post. They're celebrating.
I initially thought it hit the padding, but it looks like it's cleared the padding.
Yeah.
It's a mistake.
Who stuffed up?
The goal umpire.
But Adelaide missed the finals on the back of it.
It's shattering that we find ourselves in this position.
Whether he touched it or not, we don't know.
The technology isn't good enough. This is goal line technology, and that's the best that we've got. This may well cost Melbourne a home final.
It did look extraordinary after that head clash to see Aliir come back onto the ground. We never really do hear from the AFL much on footy matters at the moment. This is just another example of why someone needs to be in charge of AFL footy.
If we are now going to have a situation where we're going to get rid of the dump tackle and the slamming of the body, come out and tell us so that we can adjust to it. Don't give us death by
Who
1,000
tells us,
cuts.
Ed? That's the problem.
Well,
we don't have a leader, and we don't have... Brad Scott left 8 months ago. We just don't have anybody answerable to anything at the moment.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Footy Classified. What a big week it has been in football as we head into the last round of the home and away season. Matthew Lloyd, Damien Barrett, Jimmy Bartell, welcome, guys. Well, you can guess what we're going to come off the long run on tonight, and that is a simple solution for all of this, or at least the start of the solution is this. The AFL must, in the next 7 days, appoint a head of football to the Australian Football League. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be the long-term person, but the game is crying out at club levels and all the way through football to have a leader, and we demand here at Footy Classified and on behalf of the football public that there be an appointment of somebody who takes us through the final series. As I said, it doesn't have to be the person for the long term, but surely somewhere at AFL House or through the AFL system, there is somebody who can take control of AFL football through the final series, because what we've just seen there is a team with a $60 million budget has been put out unfairly of the finals, and everyone knows that. There's no witch hunt required. The umpire has copped his whack, but we can't let this go on any further. Gentlemen, can I put that to you?
Yeah, and the clubs have been putting it to the AFL too, Ed, and they can't believe it's dragged out as long as it has. I mean, it would only be, as you say, a start to the end of it, because the temporary solution is just that, and how much authority that person is going to have will ultimately rest upon the people above him or her anyway. So it's the least they can do as a starting point.
What does that say for then Laura Kane, Damo, who is, I thought, the stand-in person for these situation and matters, that we need to have somebody in this situation? What we're saying in 7 days at the start of the finals. Wasn't she meant to be it?
But I think the thing is, though, Lloydie, is that make her that person. If that's
why haven't they already?
Somebody has to have.
Yeah, I mean, we heard Laura after this issue, and I thought she handled the situation really well without having a great control over it because of the lights going out at the Gabba. But I mean, just as we talk about this, these are some of the other issues that weren't addressed publicly by the AFL. The dissent that was the massive crackdown at the start of the year, which then was relaxed, and obviously this one being the biggest one of the year.
With this one, there's nothing that could have happened because everything other than the umpire made the mistake. But what we're also saying is that, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, North Melbourne and the interchange. We'll come back to him in a moment. He's Times Man of the Year, the interchange person, or Times Woman of the Year. He's got the she's got the Sydney Swans into the finals and North Melbourne into rebuilding their list. But let me come back to the point, though, is this is the week where you go to clubs and you ring them, if you're the head of football, and you say, we are going to put you under the scrutiny that you pick the best possible sides to keep the integrity of the last game up. You ring, the build-up into the finals. Right, umpires, be aware. If there is a close decision, go to the review. It's somebody who's in charge. It reminds me of when, you're at school and the teacher has a day off and you get the relief teacher. And they might be a good person, all those, the class goes mad because you can get away with it. Unless there's somebody there on top of it, especially in this game, it turns pear-shaped very quickly.
The point you're making, Ed, is probably one that we've spoken about throughout the year, is you can actually get the jump on a lot of these issues, and I saw one of them in particular, using the dissent rule. You can do the ring around to the footy clubs and go, look, you've all been warned, cut the crap, don't whinge if there's a 50-metre penalty because you've all been told. But also there's the public-facing nature of it. We showed the AFL logo, stand out in front of that, explain things. Not everyone will agree, but most people then will feel like you're coming along with the journey. Clubs will feel a bit happier. You're there for the fans as well. You're not just there for the AFL. So we need someone who can just stand there and just deliver it.
Lloydie, the game's in rude health. The crowds are great, the football's great, everything's going well. It's these little narky things. Even last night at the Tribunal, I mean, you look at the Tribunal decision last night, which has got nothing to do with the head of football, unless they, get in and just reiterate what we're looking for. But roll the video tape on this one. This one is, McCartan, we're going to get to in a few moments' time. We'll roll the tape as soon as it comes up.
Yeah, Tom McCartan, who went to the Tribunal for a hit on Shane McAdam. And
So this is what I want to highlight, Damo. And if you're the Tribunal, of course, you're almost turning around to McCartan and going, look, sorry to waste your time, because this is the AFL's presentation. Now, in our time in football, if you hear the words or the sentence, just take short steps, what's going to happen? You're going to be out of the side and you're branded as someone not going hard enough. As you read there, McCartan could have minimised impact by taking shorter steps or turning his body, changing his trajectory. It's a split-second thing. The confusion here from the Tribunal, and there's been other cases where a player who averages close to 6 tackles a game has been told by legal counsel, this is how you should do tackling technique. Look, what are we trying to do? I think most people thought the McCartan incident was a couple of weeks just based off the previous incidents throughout the year.
And here it is. And again, him now taking that to the Tribunal and getting off flies in the face of, I think, the messaging we've had had drilled into us since round 1 this year.
But that's my point. If you're presenting it that way, and the Tribunal had that across from the AFL Council saying, take shorter steps, change your trajectory, but we admit it's a split-second thing. Of course they're going to let him off.
You're going to get off. So he gets on it. But Graham Corns actually was complaining that it's only got 2 because he had, on one of his podcasts or something, I saw the vision on somewhere, and he was just saying, well, early in the year, this happened in Adelaide Crows play, got 4 and he hit him in the chest and all that. I mean, you can argue as much as you like, and well done to the Swans for doing it, but, Paddy McCartan, his brother, just got rolled out of the game. Tom was actually in trouble earlier this year himself. But the point is, he's hit him with the point of the shoulder. The guy's got a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, and he goes to the Tribunal, and 2, he was lucky to get 2, and he gets nothing.
Hey, Damo, can I just say before we move on that I always thought we were in this position because it was a holding pattern for Brendan Gale. That's the only reason I thought we could get to at the point that we let all these issues come. We're questioning, where's our leader, why the confusion? Because with one man, we're waiting till he gets through his Richmond year. And to hear that he's now not going to be that person... Well, I cannot believe.
No, and that was the reason, Lloydie. And we'll move on now because.
But that goes on because they took so long to put Andrew Dillon in the place. And by that stage, Brendan Gale had the brace and bits and was done with it. And then everyone else who went for the job weren't being offered the same job as Brendan Gale. And as a result, everyone's thrown their hands up in the air and said, forget it.